Chinese pot, Chinese pot, Chinese pot. That's the way to learn Chinese. Chinese pot, Chinese pot, Chinese pot. That's the way to learn Chinese.
Hello, once again, welcome to Chinese Pod, and as ever, we're bringing you the basics in spoken and listening in the Chinese language. We want to try something a little bit different today. Let me give you a little bit of context, a little bit of background. Over the next few weeks, we're going to give you some directions. We know that many of you are planning to come to China, or indeed are arriving in any day, or have indeed already arrived. And sometimes it's hard to figure out how to get around, like getting from the airport and so on. So the next few weeks, we're going to build up a series of dialogues with key vocabulary that you can save on your iPod, and they will guide you through the airport, into a taxi, and so on until you get to wherever it is you want to go, your hotel or whatever. So we're going to start with step by step. We're going to start today with actually you arrive at the airport in China, whatever city you happen to be in, and you're looking for a taxi. That's always where the problems start. Getting through customs and so on tends to be quite easy, but once you get through that barrier, literally you're in the world of Chinese, and that's where communication can sometimes start to be tricky. Now, again, I want to try something different today, and so rather than having the dialogue first, we'll look at the language items first, and then we'll try to build up to a dialogue, and you can try to piece it together with us. And you can give us your feedback on this approach and let us know if it works for you and so on. Now, Jenny, let's take some of the language items and let's look at them briefly before we do the actual dialogue, could we? Yeah. Okay, so you want to know where something is, right? How would you ask that question?
哪里有？哪里有？
Okay, good. Now, 哪里有? So 哪里 meaning where, and 有 mean to have. In this case, is to be. Okay, so where is, and later you can put something. Now, let's say I was looking for a restaurant. I wanted to eat something in the airport. What could I say?
哪里有饭店？哪里有饭店？
Good. So where's the restaurant or the canteen? Now in this case, 哪里有饭店 means where is there? Where can I find, in that sense of it? Where can I find a restaurant? Another example of using 哪里有. Okay, well, let's say you wanted to know where's the bus?
哪里有公共汽车？
哪里有公共汽车? We had that before. So where could I find a bus? Or how about for the toilets, you wanted to ask?
Ah, useful.
Yes.
That's always the first place I go.
Yeah, when you get off.
At the airport, yeah. 哪里有厕所？哪里有厕所？
Did we have this 厕所 before? I think we did in some time ago, but we'll revisit again. But the phrase I want you to focus on here is, where can I find something? 哪里有, and then the item you're looking for. Good. Now, we also want to look at the words for taxi. Could we look at that?
Handy, yeah. 出租车，出租车。出租车.
Okay, now, 出租车, could you break that down for us? As in the 出租, what does that actually literally translate as?
出租 means rented.
To rent, yeah.
And 车 means car.
Okay.
Because it's, it's not your own. It belongs to a taxi company.
Yeah.
You're just renting it. So.
Okay, now the 出租 means to rent something, and we have that in an apartment later. We'll look at that. It means to rent something, and 出 means as in out, to rent out something. So it's a rent out car, literally. So one more time, please.
出租車。出租车. Very good.
Good. And that's a taxi, and we'll hear it again in just a moment. To actually take a taxi, how do you say that? What's the phrase there?
坐出租车。坐出租车.
Now, 坐 actually means to sit.
Yes.
Literally means to sit. So the phrase in Chinese, in English we say to take a bus, take a car, take a train, take an airplane and so on. But in Chinese, you literally say to sit on the bus, sit on the car, sit on And so could you give us some examples then? To sit on the bus, car, train, whatever.
坐公共汽车。坐公共汽车。 And the subway?
Yeah.
坐地铁
Okay, now we'll revisit some. We have some new words today. Don't worry too much. We'll revisit those in later
And,
lessons.
Yeah, they'll be in the learning center.
They'll be in the learning center. So what I want you to focus on here is just the verb to take, as in to take a car, a bus, and so on. Now we have some other expressions. How do you say just ahead or in front of you?
前面
Now, 前面 is very useful. It means in front, up ahead,
Yes.
in front of you, in front of us. It's very versatile. So one more time, please.
前面
Welcome back to another installment of Chinese Pod Trivia. And the question for you is, for what test does Chinese Pod offer preparation services for? Is it A, the polygraph, B, the colonoscopy, C, the HSK test, or D, the CAT scan?
The CAT scan?
Ooh, sorry, that is incorrect. The correct answer is C, the HSK test. That's right, Chinese Pod will thoroughly prepare you to pass this rigorous test of proficiency in Chinese. ChinesePod.com/HSK.
前面
Good. Now, I think we have one more phrase. It describes in a direction of something, you'd say.
Yeah. 往
In that direction.
往
In the direction of. So if you said in that direction, if the guy was waving you towards to say go straight ahead, he might say what?
往前面 or that means to go straight ahead.
straight ahead.
Yeah. 往那边往那边那边 means that way.
Okay. Now, let's put these together into a dialogue form and let's try and apply them to some extent. All right. So, first part. 小姐，请问那里有出租车？
在前面
往那边，对吗？
对你一直走
Second time. 小姐，请问哪里有出租车？
在前面
往那边，对吗？
对你一直走
Good. Now, we can listen to that in its complete form in a moment. So let's just do the sentence level translation for the words, okay? Could you give us each sentence, please, Jenny, and I'll translate it.
小姐请问哪里有出租车
Excuse me, miss. Where can I find a taxi?
小姐请问哪里有出租车
So where can I find a taxi, please?
小姐请问哪里有出租车
Miss, can I ask, where could I find a taxi?
在前面
Just ahead.
在前面
In front.
在前面
It's just ahead.
往那边对吗
In that direction, is it?
往那边对吗
In that direction. Is that right?
往那边对吗
In that direction. Is that right?
对你一直走
Correct. Just go straight.
对你一直走
Correct. Just go straight.
对你一直走
Good. Just go straight.
Ken, actually,
Yeah.
I noticed you pronounce 那边 as 那边.
Yes.
Yeah. Just want to point out to our listeners that
Yeah.
both pronunciations are fine. They're all correct.
那边 or
那边
那边.
or 那边.
Oh, that's interesting. Good for that. Thanks for that, Jenny. I didn't quite realize that. Okay. So the key vocabulary today, we'll just go through it. 哪里有 in this case was where could I find a taxi?
哪里有出租车？出租车，出租车。
Good. Now, to take a taxi.
坐出租车，坐出租车，
Good. How about to take a bus?
坐公共汽车，坐公共汽车。Even though ironically you can hardly sit on any public transportations in China.
That's right, but we still say to sit
to
on the
sit,
bus and
yeah.
so on. How do you say up ahead?
前面，
Now, how do you say walk ahead?
往前面。Or you can say 往前面走。
往前面
Yeah,
走.
walk in the direction ahead of you.
Good. 往前面走 means walk in that direction. Okay, good stuff. Now, that was just our first introduction to arriving in China. As I said, you could save these on your iPod, and we'll build them up over the weeks to give you more or less guide you through your visit here and getting around and so on. But I do believe that's it for today here on Chinese Pod. Go to the Learning Center on ChinesePod.com if you have a few minutes to consolidate a lot. We're building up more and more vocabulary, and it is very difficult to retain that vocabulary unless you get to see it, and you see it in different contexts, different sentences, and so on. So I do recommend you do that. But right now, I think it's time for us here on Chinese Pod coming to you from Shanghai to say 再见.
As usual, ChinesePod provides an extensive selection of learning materials for this lesson on its website, www.chinesepod.com. You can access this lesson directly with the lesson number 0050. So just go to www.chinesepod.com/0050 and you will find a transcript, vocabulary, and much more. The link again, www.chinesepod.com/0050.